Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Truth Unapologetic, the first edition. And I'm very honored to be with my what I don't know what to call him, but I've known him for so long. He's almost like a son to me, and everything else. He always questions me, and that's why we're here today to question each other to see how we are doing on the national and the international space, especially when it comes to certain topics that I am sure will be important to you, will be thought provoking, and will be very interesting. It is to inspire, to inform, and to educate at the same time. So today, our first topic will be brought to us by none other than David Chambers. We say unapologetic because, and it's the truth, because the truth hurts. The truth is an offense, but it is not a sin. So therefore, I believe that a lot of you out there, like myself and my fellow, um, my my co my co-host here today, we want to see things happen and people at least try as possible to get to the truth without calling people's names, without lambasting people, without the acrimony that some things happen after that. So there it is. The first topic will be introduced to us by none other than David, who calls himself David and Goliath. Of course, I am the Goliath, and he is naturally the David. Take it over, David. Your time.
I was wondering if you're going to say that or leave it to me, but I don't think you said it correctly.
Okay,
He
well, where did I go
is,
wrong?
I am David, as in representing
Great,
David,
David, yes.
from a scriptural perspective, but not, of course, obviously, David in the Bible. Um, and he represents that Goliath perspective. So we talk about truth, unapologetic. The truth will come from you know who, and we know who Goliath represent. So let's see what happens here. I'm going to leave you guys to make the judgment call on that. How about this? So the topic today, we're going to discuss about crypto, Bitcoin, and XRP, and what this means for um, finance or finances in the year to come and in the future. What does this mean today, currently for us? Is this something that we should get on board with? Is this something that is just fly by night? It comes now, is here now, and is hot now, but it will dissipate just like other things. So, what are your thoughts on this, Captain? I can share my thoughts if you don't mind, and then you can pick up on it after
Go
if you
ahead.
want. So,
Let's hear it.
crypto, Bitcoin, is just another currency. But the difference is, unlike the US dollar, this now will become a more common dollar in everybody's hand. It will be the trading dollar. US currency right now is it belongs to the United States, and it is the world's trading currency. However, there is a time coming, and some of these things that I'm seeing right now is scriptural, actually. It's prophecy. You'll see come to fruition. But there is a time coming when the world will be trading on a currency that, when they work on a day-to-day basis and get paid, that very currency that they get paid in is the trading currency that the world will be trading. So right now, for example, I am in Canada. When I work, I get paid in Canadian dollars. And when I am trading on the world market and I'm trading with the US currency. I have to buy the US currency on the market and trade with that. Or everything is based on the value of the US currency. The time I'm talking about that's coming is when I work. I will not no longer be getting paid in Canadian dollars, but rather in, for example, this worldwide currency. Like it could be a Bitcoin, it could be a crypto dollar, um, or whatever that currency that emerges um, in the future. Now, what that means for the market, I'm not so sure. But what that means for prophecy is that we know when we see something like this, we know the time draw it closer. The time draws nigh. The end may not be yet, but the time comes closer for the return of the King of Kings. That much I know. Now, our dollar, Canadian
May I
dollar
say,
in my
may
case.
I interject a second?
Okay,
Yeah, not what you know is what you believe.
correct.
Okay, I happen to believe the same thing that that the world itself will is it cannot continue as it is. You know, something's going to happen. I do believe that I'm not trying to throw any monkey wrench on Jamaica or any other place, but you see catastrophes and the earth melting around us in certain areas and so on. Low lying areas and cities and so on might not be able to proceed to go as they are. So from that perspective, but I think that the biggest issue with all this currency is that it's no longer will be, you cannot see the money, you cannot feel the money, you hear the money is there, and you believe the money is there. And what I have been observing is that there's a lot of scamming going on because it's not really very traceable. It's like AI. You don't know where it is really coming from. So from that perspective, I think that there are countries. In fact, I read about a country. I'm not really sure which one was either whether Thailand or wherever it was. I don't think it was Thailand, but it was in oh my gosh, what was it? It was Vietnam. Vietnam.
Hmm.
81 million people were take their money was taken away because they refused to sign up for the digital currency. Now, can you imagine that? You work for your money and 81 million. So where did the money go? That was the question that was asked. And so my concern is, although we know and we believe in an Almighty, the fact of the matter is that these people down here on earth are behaving as they are the Almighty. And once they get that type of, what should I say, leverage over us,
Mhm.
I think it will be very dangerous. Okay, so in this case, so we agree, we can agree to disagree on this. I do believe in innovation, but there's a limit to innovation.
Okay, before we
Okay,
get to that,
yes.
let me go get back to the point I was trying to get at, which you kind of made it earlier, just now in your um, comments you just made. But I was using, for example, the Canadian dollar.
Hmm.
Um, if, for example, if it's Bitcoin, let's say it's Bitcoin or crypto, common board, that dollar, the Canadian dollar, will no longer have the value that it holds today. Okay,
Hmm.
and if I have, for example, 100,000 Canadian dollars, and I want to purchase stuff, I
Hmm.
can't purchase stuff with my Canadian dollars anymore because
Why not?
I'm telling you that's where it's going. When the
Okay,
world is
okay.
purchasing, when the
Okay, yeah,
world, yes, when the world is operating on a particular currency and you want to purchase,
Yes.
You want to buy something, and the person is like, you go to even Jamaica right now. Let me use Jamaica for example. Jamaica is using Jamaican dollars, but you go
Mm-hmm.
to Jamaica and you try to rent a place from some of these people. They're not quoting in Jamaican dollars, they're quoting in US dollars. In fact, I've been to Jamaica already, and I'm offering a gentleman, this is the amount in Canadian dollars. And he's like, oh, no, 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 no. I rather US dollars. And if you're going to give him Canadian dollars, you have to calculate the US value. Now, I'm trying to say that if the Canadian dollar, if I have 100,000 Canadian dollar and now Bitcoin becomes, for example, the trading currency across the world, my $100,000 means nothing much unless I convert it to Bitcoin or crypto, if that whatever the trading dollar is. Now, when I convert that 100,000, it might just value, I don't know, 5,000, 6,000 in Bitcoin, maybe. I don't know. It may or may not have much value as it hold or held when I had it in Canadian currency, or the previous currency, previous value it had in the Canadian currency. So it will turn this whole financial market upside down for a lot of people. But I don't think it's going to happen suddenly. It's a gradual thing. It's not just now. You're hearing about it now. We're hearing about it now. But this is something in the making for the past 5, 6 years. Okay, maybe even a little longer. But I've heard about it since then, and now it's becoming even more prominent in discussions, and people are trading. I just spoke with a friend of mine last night, and he is was never traded before. He's now seeking out how to buy coins and all this stuff. So what we have to understand is there is that time coming, whatever that may be. It could be um, next year. It could be 2 years from now. It doesn't matter. That time is coming when we all will be just talking about one currency. You're muted. You're muted.
Yeah, yes. David, yes. But here's what I'm thinking, David. I think that the people are listening to us right now.
Mhm.
They would like to say to themselves, okay, the perspective, how does it affect them? Are they scared? You see the point I'm making? That's the problem, you know. You can work so hard, regardless of the currency, Canadian, the USA, whatever.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, right, somebody is in control of your money except you. And every type of transaction you make,
Somebody
right,
know about it.
they will be it is observable right away. They can literally tell you what you're buying. No, look at my case, for example. I have retired some time ago. I'm only getting a certain amount of funds, and yet they turn around and want to tax you, and I'm not working extra.
Yeah, but you were aware of that when you were working, that you would have been taxed, right?
Not no no not after, not if you're not earning over a certain amount of money. But if it is
Oh,
crypto, no, no, you have to be earning over like 20,000. Okay, but because of my personal situation where I have to be doing certain things, right? That, but if you don't have the evidence to show that, so that's the same thing with crypto. It can disappear. Look at what happened, and I'm going to give you an instance. This young man who who literally went off and did what he had to do with crypto, and they eventually arrested him. Okay, I
are you talking about
understood
the
that.
gentleman who was pardoned by Donald Trump recently?
That's exactly what I'm saying. But I don't even want to go with the pardon. Well, that's what's going to happen
I'm just
anyway.
trying to see who you're talking about. But I
Oh
know who
yes,
you're
it's the
talking about
same.
now. Hmm.
Exactly. So I find that rather incredulous that you can go and do something, and then you can. after a while, you literally control the person who made you who you are. And that to me is unapologetic
Mm.
to me. And so I would like the people out there to be aware how are you going to do it. So my view is, you know what I would like, David, if I could find all the gold that I can, right? If I had the funds to find all the gold that I can and buy gold, because that does not change in value, it increases in value
Mm.
no matter where. But in the end, I have never seen a U-Haul behind a hearse, and I never will see a U-Haul behind a hearse because you can't take it with you.
Right.
So my view, you have to kind of plan ahead and plan for your family and all that sort of thing. That's what I see.
Makes
So
sense.
I'm not unapologetically. I'm not worried because I am concerned though that this will cause some people to manipulate others, the
Mm.
banks and places like that where we have no control over. And what are we going to do? That's my concern.
Well, okay. So you're right in a lot of ways, yeah, and your concerns are valid, I must say. Um, However, you have to understand that right now the system is set up in such a way that all of your fears that you think you will have when it comes down to these digital currencies, you may as well have these fears now because your money is, in a sense, it's not digital, but it's operating digitally because you can go on your computer and buy stuff.
Mhm,
You're not holding your money physically.
mhm.
It's there in the bank, and
Good point.
there's a group of people who can see what you're doing and know what you're doing, and they can stop your car, they can stop the payment, they can report that you just purchased this to the government and all these kind of stuff. So right now, as we speak, if those fears you have, um, though concerning and though legitimate, may as well you put those fears into action now because we're living it right now. The difference is that when that time comes, and a lot of things that are very it's unknown right now,
Mhm.
so we can't speak much to it. But I can just imagine that when you have these digitized currency, um, it's gonna be more global, and when everybody is subject to that, that's when it becomes real that the world is controlled by one entity because
But
we're all
may I just say this to you? I just looked at something and said Bitcoin has managed to keep proving doubters wrong. Bitcoin,
Mhm,
of all of them, the crypto, the Bitcoin seems to be the healthiest
mhm,
option
mhm,
that you have because it's a coin, it's recognizable, etc., etc. It
mhm,
has a value, it changes value. Had I invested in that, I mean, right now we would be dancing and singing earlier on. But unfortunately, um, I still don't, I don't know that somebody else. So where's the central bank going to be now? Whose central bank are we going to be using? You know what I mean? Who has and that sort of thing. I don't know I can't trust people like that. You know what I mean? That is the key. Personally, I would say
mhm.
I believe in investing. I believe that you can and so on and so forth. But these people, just like how they can get up and say, "Well, you owe this and you owe that," and and make it up. How are you going to prove that it's not so if you don't have documentation?
Now,
It's gonna cost you. Hold on, one more.
mhm,
You have to get a lawyer, etc., or a tax person. It's gonna cost you in the long run to see what is going on. Yeah, your time.
mhm. Well, I was just wondering if we can get someone online
Hmm.
to have this conversation with. So
That's what I was thinking also too.
who
So
probably would know more about this and give
not
a
only could
better.
we can find somebody who I'm sure who is in the business of Bitcoin and can maybe explain. And we also have lots of documentaries and things that are coming on,
Hmm.
and they're very good on, and they explain it as well. But then I guess you have maybe have to get copyright, in order to use. I don't know.
Yeah, there are things, there are YouTube links, you can check out. But you mentioned about scamming and scammers and all
Hmm.
these stuff.
Hmm.
You have to be very careful of that, because
Right.
information today, um, you have to now do your own checks,
Yeah.
verify whether or not this thing is from a good source or not. And it's very difficult to even that verification process, because AI now can take, um, let's say, um, Elon Musk's image, his voice, his
Oh yeah.
lips, and get it to speak and move and say the things as if he is saying it, and he had nothing to do with it, right? And so you see, there are clips on YouTube, with billionaires speaking and telling you
Oh
what you
yeah.
can do and all these stuff, and all these things is fake, you know.
Mm.
Now, you have people who cannot verify or detect whether or not it is fake or not, and those people I put in the vulnerable category. And who to tell? Yourself, depending on, you know your level of investment, could be vulnerable to tricks like these, right?
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate, but this is what's happening now. So I'd rather get someone live who can come in and speak to it, who may even have some experience to talk about stuff like this, who,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. I'm in total agreement to that. And then one thing before, I don't know if we're going to close shortly on this topic, but I think that people of color, and not to bring color into it or so on, but the truth, I wonder if the playing field will be as consistent as it would be for other people, or as level as they say.
Okay.
You know,
Unless you have a name that is black. Remember now,
what's
this
that?
is
I didn't know
unless you have a name that is black, you know, um, Shaniqua,
that.
you know.
No. Do you really think so?
Well, hey, it's digital and nobody's seeing you. It's all
Yeah.
about online. You don't know who is who. It's about whether or not you can afford to buy this thing or not. It's either
No, but
either. So
sooner or
there is
later you got to
no.
talk to the person. And what about you when you have an accent? What are you gonna do?
Well, a lot of these things are not set up for you to even talk to anyone. It is set up. It is there. You can just go online, sign up, talking to no one, and start trading. Talking to no one, having conversations with no one. You don't have to have a picture there. So, my brother recently started doing some trading and seemed to be pretty versed at it. And he has his source for information, but for the most part, he's just going online and doing his thing. Now, the advice I gave to him is, listen, you can try starting out with what you can afford to lose. You know, build on that, and if you want to keep it and keep building on it, so let it be. But you can pull it out and then play with what you built on, or the profit you had, or you got from what you initially invested, and then you work from there on out. And that's kind of your way of investing without that high risk of losing, um, your life savings, or the money you're depending on for your kids and stuff like that. That's one way of approaching it. Not everybody
Mhm.
can do it like that. A lot of people just want to get the profit fast,
Mhm.
and high risk and high gain, high rewards. So some people approach life like that, and so it depends on your personality whether or not you're a risky investor or medium or not so much. You know. So yeah, I think that's where I am on that, and I wouldn't, you know, I'd say I'm giving anyone any advice other than to make sure you triple, double, and triple check um, any investment platform or anyone you're listening to.
At least we can agree without disagreeing on this topic because I feel the same way. I have thought about it and just that do a few dollars and so on and to try it. I think it's exciting, really, to be quite
Mm.
honest with you, to see how well you can do. I had my chances in the years gone by to really hit the big leagues on things like that, and I had declined because I did not see the value at the time in it. But then again, the person who invited me never said, "Well, hey, you can do this and that, and so on." And would I believe? Maybe not at the time, but then eventually years has passed, and I've seen them do very, 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 very well.
Mm.
So I would encourage anybody, as you quite rightly say, if you do not spend more than you want, you can afford to lose. Because they're no crybabies. I'm not gonna cry for you because you went and did that. But I would admire you if you did well. I don't necessarily want a dollar, but I would admire you and say, well, make sure you know what you're doing. Continue if you want to. Some
Mm.
people do well. Some people don't. Some people put away. It's like today I saw a house in West Palm Beach. I couldn't believe it. A house for $85,000, and I wanted to ask myself the question: Who died and who's buried under that house? And
Too good to be true, huh?
eh?
Too good to be true.
It is just too good to be true. And so they said you must ding somewhere and see if somebody would come back. Nobody's come back to me. So obviously it's either sold or it's a trick to bring you to the table.
Mm.
So that's basically. I don't know if you want to pause on that
Yeah.
and we go to the other subject.
All right. So let's talk about the aftermath of this monstrous hurricane that just passed through Jamaica.
One of the highest in the world has ever experienced, if not the highest,
Hmm.
right? And I did not know, to be quite honest with you, David, that this could have happened in Jamaica. We passed through Gilbert, many others, Beryl, and many of the. In fact, I was told that I was born 51 storm, which was not true, but I believed it anyway. And so that's why I'm so stormy. But the fact of the matter is that I have never, ever in my life seen devastation like I've seen. I
You
mean,
said you don't know,
I,
you didn't know that this could happen. What is this? This could happen in Jamaica. What are you talking about when you say
I'm talking about
this?
the hurricane. It would have had this type of effect because with the mountains that we have in the middle of the island,
Mm-hmm.
I want you to visualize, everyone to visualize the mountains
Okay.
from east to west, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And this one was able to crawl behind from the east, right? The hills, go behind Kingston, go behind I think it's Clarendon, St. Catherine, and
Mm-hmm.
and then just start to ravage the mountainous Mandeville and went right down the hill and literally like you're sweeping a back room, just swept right through.
Mm.
See what I'm saying? And I was not also aware that St. Elizabeth is really half water and half land. I knew that the Black River was nearby. I knew that all those things were. But then again, the storm again turned in like a chasm from before they reached Black River right through New Market. And if you remember New Market and can't remember the next place, the new market there. My grandmother used to live there. And it went down the hill through Betheltown and right down to Hanover and swept again west again. That's a tricky storm.
Mm.
Right? It's like a big think. Don't think about anaconda. Think about this big snake.
If you had your choice,
Yes.
just saying, just for conversation purposes,
Yeah.
if you had your choice to direct this storm, and this storm had to touch Jamaica, you just have to
Yes.
direct it. You don't. You
I
cannot
know where.
avoid.
I
That's
know
what I'm
where
saying.
it's sending. I know where it's sending. Don't ask me no more because God know I can't lie to you. I know exactly where it's sending.
So you can't
That's
answer the
it.
question, huh?
No. Well, if I were to listen,
I think.
honestly,
Let me. Can I give you a background? And I know we give you a
what?
background
Give
for
me
the
the
question.
background. Give
The
me the
reason.
background.
The reason I'm asking is because, first of all, the storm hit Jamaica, obviously, and
Yes.
where it hit, we know it's devastated. That
Yes.
area, right? That
Mm.
said, we know there are other areas in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Had it gone through there, while it would affect other people, it probably would not have been as devastating.
You know,
Perhaps. We don't know.
honestly, David,
Perhaps. We don't
honestly,
know.
no, David, honestly, no matter where that storm went,
Hmm.
and if that gone in the middle, most of the tourist resorts will be gone right now. Going down from east, going down, say north east, that is like go from the St. Mary side to Ocharis and so. Oh my God, no.
Hmm.
I mean, God was very kind to us people in that section
Oh, okay.
because I am telling you, listen, there were places in where it hit that the people were on top of the mountain, like it's mountainous. Water is down there, and they're like an island now. They were marooned, and so
Hmm.
that's how the water got snagged up with the cows, the dead bodies, the dogs, the whatever. In fact, John Crows left Jamaica. So the only thing I would change is yes, right here there's no John Crow around there anymore because there's no the John Crow circle. But these birds are smart. They know water's coming. They take off, go eat somewhere else. Not even the dead bodies they wanted, from what I understand. So that's why it's so difficult, and I'm not being facetious.
I heard.
That's why.
I
Eh?
heard that they're just recently. I was taking someone to the airport. They were heading to Jamaica. On the
Yes.
phone with someone else, um, who was telling this person that they learned that there's a disease that's developing or
Yes,
diseases developing.
liposclerosis or something like that. I get yes, and I also
So one
what is it?
second. Oh, 1 second. Um, is did the government do everything that they could have done or within their powers to avoid something
You
like
know
this?
something? They say the truth unapologetic, but I really I'm but honest with you. When you say this to most people nowadays, they're saying the government could do nothing. That is where I am afraid I must say absolutely not. That is not so. You see, where I'm coming from, let's say from a
The
military
government could
background,
do nothing about what? That,
the government couldn't do anything about the storm. We know that.
oh,
They
okay.
couldn't do
So
anything about the storm.
be specific
But we're
about
not
what they
yeah,
could
but
do.
we're not talking about the storm per se. We're talking about the preparation for the storm.
Oh, okay.
So I want you to just for one moment follow my lead here and
Mm.
say, okay, fine. You asked me where I would. I would say, and the people in my Junker Mountain and all of that mountain in the middle maybe vex with me now and say the Maroons and so on, because they would be literally almost wiped if that gone over the mountains. But I think it would break in the middle because of that. You understand what I'm saying?
Hmm. Hmm.
But once it's on the flat, it can run its course and what have you. So I wouldn't send it anywhere personally because it is going to be divisive. However, in my view, if you knew that was coming from the east going to the west on that trajectory, you could have put into place areas they said where people can go, but they did it for some and they didn't do it for the others. And the fact of the matter is that People in, for example, Port Royal refuse to leave. They are wrong. They should have left because they're very lucky,
That's on the
especially.
people, though. That's not on the
Eh?
government. That's on the people.
No, no, no. That's on the people.
Okay.
Yes, but I'm just explaining to you both sides of it,
Okay.
so nobody can say I'm untruth. Remember, we are talking about the truth here. And what I'm saying to you, if you are, let us imagine that you are the father of the storm. You are the father. You're going to make decisions for your family.
Mhm.
Okay, because that's what the government is. Okay, they can have to hold that responsibility. So you know that if you are going to Ocherest from Kingston as you used to, you have to make sure that you are packed with this and so on, your car is running properly, and everything is prepared for when you get to that point. And if you were to stop on the road, I know, David, would do that. So it's the same thing with the government. Stop saying that they could not have done. No, my view is that if you had thought about it before, you would mobilize the military,
Mm.
all 10, 12,000, the police, other persons who are able-bodied, who have been in the police or the military, other things, and set them up in such a strategic way that even though it hit so badly, it would not have made people go drink the water that gives them leptospirosis, whatever it was called. And there's another one that is called cholera and all that sort of thing. That is next,
Mm.
right? And by the way, let me tell you how you get it. It's simple. If you go into the water and bathe and something scratch you, it goes through you. If you drink it and you don't boil it, you understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
From what I have learned. So my view, therefore, is if we had strategic things in strategic places, and not being a Monday morning quarterback, I'm saying if you had them, okay, let's face it, how many Catholic churches you know? I know there are many in Jamaica.
Mhm.
And one
Go
thing
ahead,
I
listen.
know,
I'm listening. Go ahead.
one, one thing I know about Catholic churches, right?
Mhm.
They have very good structures. All the churches in Jamaica, Catholic church, Anglican churches, some Baptist churches, and I mean, you know who I'm talking about. Big buildings. And you go and you map out those and you stock those beforehand with water and so on. And then you get the huge vehicles them. You say for the V150s, the motorboats and so on. And say when this happens, regardless of how bad it happens, we have been moving them into the area right away, right around the island in various spots. I don't think the devastation would be as terrible as it is
Okay.
in terms of the
Good
people. That's
point.
my
I agree with that. Um, I also believe that preparation should not begin only when you hear about the storm.
that's the point.
You know where the island is located
Yes, yes,
and prone to different weather patterns.
right.
And if the government proactively um, govern taking these things into consideration over the years,
Mm-hmm.
when the rain falls, and I'm talking about just the regular rain, when it falls, you should not have roads being blocked
Yeah.
just on the regular rain falling. Knowing that at any point in time, at any month in time, especially during the hurricane season, even if it's not a powerful hurricane, it could be just a thunderstorm, it could be tropical storm that come by and flood the place. So number one, drainage all year round. That should be an annual maintenance program from the government perspective. Okay, that should not be, oh, the hurricane is coming, let's go and move some drainage, clean some
Totally
drainage
right.
here. And
Totally,
so
totally right.
that's
And that's
one
what.
that's one thing that I think any government, that should be a standard thing.
But what people are going to say. We're always criticizing the government and so on and so forth. Listen to me. I am tired of people talking about criticizing. It's like you have a child and you know so they pick me bad. You know that the child is some of them rotten, and you are not taking precautions to make sure that that child does not get themselves in trouble. And they end up harming you in the long run. You know what I mean? So
So who is
we
Israel
have
child now?
no. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Okay.
And remember, one of the things about this truth unapologetic, I've mentioned from the beginning, I am not calling no names.
Don't
The
call a
reason
name.
why, no, no, hold on. The reason why I'm not calling any names is this. Let us say to this, okay? We saw the devastation. It's horrific. Let me tell you one thing that you have forgotten, or you may, not have. But do you know that right now you have to send soldiers and police with, or even the aid workers that are coming from abroad to help us there? Why? You know why?
Right.
Because the boy them out there holding up the people them still and what have you. And yet, when you catch one of them and you nail them, and whoever want vex, vex, everybody coming out, and that means that it's either they're benefiting from this thing or what have you and what have you. We have to stop that.
Um, okay. There are preventative measures that, had it been taken from the outset, I don't think we would have the um, people feeling so afraid of serving their own community. Because right now you have people who want to help, and they don't want to even go in certain communities because of fear of being robbed. Um, so I believe that I put this on the government because you know your people. You know your people. You know how they are in situations like these. And you know that there are people who are coming and are in the country trying to help. Where is the protection from even before you're muted? I'm not sure if you're trying to speak, but you're muted. Where is the protection from even before the the people start to go around helping? Where was that? That should have been out there from the get-go. People should feel safe trying to help their fellow Jamaicans, or even people who are coming from abroad who are not Jamaicans but feel the need to come and help. You should have that system set up already so that people can come in into a secure environment, ready to help. And if we were a war zone, that would be a different conversation. But this is not a war zone situation. This is um, um, a weather devastation situation. And all we need is the government to put things in place and measures in place, preventative measures in place, so that people don't get out of hand or even think about certain ideas. Don't even give them the opportunity to think about it. So, how do we have the soldiers on board from the get go? I believe that this would be serve as a deterrent.
Very good
And
point. Very good point.
today we would not have what we're having today,
Yeah. Yes,
unfortunately.
I'm totally in agreement with you on this situation here. We have to find ways and means of doing things in a specific way. And this is a learning experience, but it should never have been such a bad learning experience, as far as I'm concerned. Um, and I'm not here trying to pick up points to anybody or what have you. What I would like to see is some degree of uniformity of purpose. In other words, we know what we're going to do. I think that is important. I think that's what came out of this whole discussion, as far as I'm concerned. I'm very glad that we're spreading the word, that people will now look at us in a different light. You understand? Instead of saying, hey, we are what you call it,
Monday morning quarterbacks,
yes, Monday morning quarterbacks.
quarterback.
One moment, please. One moment. Go ahead, David, sorry.
I think, let me just wrap it up here, but I'm going to ask a question. Um, what are you doing? How would you advise fellow Jamaicans who are living abroad and want to help, um, tell us what you're doing, and then tell us how
Well,
others can help.
they, well, to be quite honest with you, the Jamaicans who are abroad right now and in Jamaica, they have made some significant, what should I say, what should I say, assistance, moves to give assistance to their family and friends and come right throughout the island. I think that they have done that. I think they're continuing to do that. It is be a long haul. I mean, it's going to take years to get over all of this. Right now, we still do not have electricity in some areas. We do not, so we have to work together. So what we have been doing is the Jamaica Diaspora Foundation.org has been coming together with other groups and working towards getting things to those areas that need the assistance and need the help. It's not just monetary help, help in every direction. We want help for the children, for example. There are no schools going on right now, you know. There, food for the children, and food for the poor and the indigent and what have you. We need that. We need help from everywhere possible. But we must be responsible, in my opinion, and that's what we have done. We have sent 3 containers down. And we'll be sending out some more, what should I say, placards, pictures of what we are doing in advance of next few weeks, so that people can understand what we are trying to get at. And so far, so good. And we have a lot of people. Now we're learning, and we can learn a new process as to what we should do and how we should do it. So basically, I'm encouraging everybody to speak to. If you work in the United States, you work in the big companies. What I plan to do is to write some of the companies that I've been looking with, and we've been doing that too, and see if we can get things out to get to Jamaica to help people and genuine people get it out there to the people who want it most, and not
What do you
just
say to companies who say, "Hey, let's send the money directly to the government"? What would you say to them?
absolutely not, absolutely not.
Mm,
I don't think so. I don't think that I don't think that the government unfortunately has the capacity, to do it and so on. I mean, right now, listen, I'm not knocking any, and I'm talking about any government. I'm not
mm,
just talking about a government just because they're JLP or PNP. That's not the issue. The issue is, will what I said, for example, Japanese sent some, oh my God, 150,000, I don't know how much, a lot of things, and up to now, the poor people haven't got these things. Blankets, tarpaulins, tents, and they have
mm,
not gotten it. What could have stopped them from getting it yet?
mm.
You see, and this is
Bureaucracy,
the
eh?
issue. Yes. So where are you gonna put it? You're gonna make it stay there and rot? It possibly will,
Mm,
right? We need to get responsible people out there and go about dealing with the issue right away and stop
mm,
fooling around about JLP. That doesn't matter right now. Because when that person is going to die, he's not going to ask whether going to, no, that's not it. Let's keep it clean. Let's get it resolved. That's how I see it. Okay. And so anybody wants to sit around and say, you're always cursing the parents, you're always cursing, that is nonsense. Let us really get it together. I think that we are no nonsense, truth unapologetic program. I think that's a good beginning. And if we do this, we're on the right trajectory. We ask the people, we should have a way of asking the people, what are your thoughts? Give us your thoughts. Are we wrong? Are we being, uh, what should I say, overzealous? Or are we, what are we doing wrong? What are we doing right? That's it. There you go, David.
All right, folks. Hopefully, we catch you on the next go around. You have a good rest of the day. And as Mr. Goliath just said, send in your thoughts and anything you'd want us to discuss.
And
Um,
not only the thoughts,
you want to give them your
David.
email? Do you want to give them your email?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. The email that best suits us would be Jamaica diaspora J7 at gmail.com.
Could you repeat that, please?
Jamaica diaspora diaspora J7 at gmail.com. I'm not also, I will give my telephone number as
Is
well.
it Jamaica diaspora or is it diaspora first?
Diaspora, diaspora J7 at gmail.com.
Okay.
And
So 1 second. So
yes,
that's diaspora J7
A7
at
at
gmail
gmail, all
dot com.
lowercase would be preferable. And a telephone number you can always reach me at is 909-994-2490 or 561-809-0855. 561-809-0855. We should get another specific phone number soon, but we'll see how it works.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you for listening in, everybody.
Have a good day.